This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
This episode is sponsored by Friskies, who would like to tell your cats hi. Now, if that didn't get your cat's attention, there is one thing that always does the trick. Just pour some Friskies crunchy food in the bowl and you'll hear those paws come running. Works every time. With so many Friskies choices, you can always bring your cats running from their secret napping spots. There's always more to explore. See for yourself at friskies.com or visit your local store.
Hello and welcome to I Talk to Ghosts, the podcast that loves to play with creepy little things. I'm your haunted host, Jennifer, a spirit medium and a teller of ghost stories. And tonight, dear guest, I have for you ghostly tales of haunted toys. Then, after the spooky, join me for some spirit work. Join me at my séance table where I will open up the space for a spirit to come close for someone listening to the podcast. And since you're attending, this could be for you. That's later on in the podcast. But first, it's spooky playtime. The tales of haunted toys are starting right now. When my brother and I were little, we used to share a bedroom. It was a cozy space filled with toys and bedtime stories. Eventually, when I got older, the old study down the hall became my new room. One of my favorite childhood toys was a small ragdoll. I never gave her a proper name. She was just Ragdoll. She had button eyes, yarn hair, and a sewn-on smile that always seemed a little crooked. As I got older, I didn't play with her anymore, but I couldn't bring myself to throw her away. So I placed her on the shelf above my brother's bed, positioned so I could still see her when I was in the room. That's when I started noticing strange things. The ragdoll's head would subtly shift. At first, I thought it was my imagination, or maybe the tilt of the shelf. But the more I moved around the room, the more I felt her eyes following me. It wasn't menacing at first. In fact, there was an odd sense of calm about her, like she was watching over me. But after a while, that feeling changed. I started avoiding Ragdoll. Her expression seemed to warp in the corner of my eye. Her smile, maybe just a blur in my vision, seemed more like a smirk. Some of my other toys began to go missing, or worse, they turned up damaged. My favorite soft seahorse turned up on my bed one day with a deep gash across its throat, stuffing spilling out like something had tried to tear it apart. Ragdoll was there too, perched on a shelf, staring down at the ruined toy like a silent witness. I did get my mother to fix my seahorse, but I wanted to get rid of Ragdoll. She had to go. During a massive house clear-out, my father was moving old things up into the attic. I took Ragdoll and I told her, "You've been mean to me, so I'm going to put you into the attic until you can behave." My dad chuckled, thinking it was a game, and placed her in a box under the eaves. Not long after that, I began hearing noises, soft thuds, deliberate footsteps pacing the attic floor above my room, sometimes tapping like teeny drumming on the boards. I tried to ignore it, thinking it was the house settling, but it didn't feel that way. Years passed. One day, my brother and I decided to go into the attic to look for our old board games. I had nearly forgotten about Ragdoll until we found her. She wasn't in the box where we left her. Instead, she was tucked into the darkest, furthest corner of the attic, facing the wall. Neither of us said a word. We just left her there and took the board games downstairs. We stored the games in the den, and that's when we saw her again. Ragdoll was already there, perched neatly on the shelf by the window, facing the room as though she never left. I froze. I hadn't touched her. Neither had my brother. I placed the games on the shelf, and we quickly left, locking the door behind us. After that, she began appearing in different parts of the house. It was always startling to come across her in cupboards, on chairs, even once nestled between the cushions on the sofa. Always in plain sight. Always seeming to stare at you. I felt silly, but I told her to stop, to leave things alone. But that didn't work. I kept finding her about the house. With one exception, she couldn't follow me upstairs. The bedrooms and the bathroom remained out of reach. Maybe she couldn't climb the stairs. Looking back, I can't believe that this was part of my childhood. It's amazing to me that strangeness could be so accepted. Maybe it's because everything is new to a kid and you just don't know any better. I'm not sure what happened to Ragdoll. I try not to think about it, just in case my thoughts have some kind of summoning power. I never want to see her again. This happened when I was about 5 or 6 years old. My sister and I were in our bedroom one night, and I was playing with a toy phone. Just a little plastic thing that I believe had been my baby brother's. I said hello into the receiver, and clear as day, I heard a man's voice greet me back with,
"Hello,"
right into my ear. The voice wasn't creepy or ghostly. It sounded like the normal friendly way anyone would say hello to a little kid. But I was still terrified, of course, and I ran to my parents. I even asked my dad if he had just said hello, but he hadn't. They tried to reassure me that it was my imagination and that everything was fine. As I got older, I kept trying to tell myself that this was just the active imagination of a kindergartner, even though my imagination had always been just about playing pretend with dolls or toys or friends, but I was always fully aware I was just playing. I never saw or heard things that weren't there. But I can still hear that voice in my mind. It didn't sound like anyone I knew, and I never heard a voice on that telephone again. Come to think of it, I was so spooked that night that I never played with that phone again. For whatever reason, I've always wanted to know if anyone else had ever had a similar experience, toy phone and all, or something similar. Since unexplained things like that have been pretty rare in my life, when they have happened, I guess they tend to stick with me. Half of me tries to find a logical explanation, and the other half is just weirded out for a very long time. I was 8 years old when my Aunt Wendy gave me a porcelain-faced clown doll. It had a red teardrop beneath one eye that didn't quite look like paint. It looked more like blood. We were staying at my aunt's house at the time, and as we were getting ready for bed, we realized there really wasn't anywhere to put the toy clown. So my mom placed it on the shelf in the front room where we were sleeping. As we laid there talking in the dark, both of us started to feel like something was watching us. We looked around. No one else was in the room. Everyone else in the house was already asleep. Then my mom glanced at the clown doll. It was facing us. She was certain she had turned it towards the door. Quietly, she got up and turned it to face the wall. A few minutes later, as we continued talking, we heard a sound, soft scratching on the shelf, like something heavy was being turned. We both looked up. The doll was facing us again. Thinking maybe my cousin was playing a prank, we checked her room, but she was fast asleep. I even nudged her leg to be sure. No one could fake being asleep that well. After confirming she wasn't the one behind it, we returned to the front room. My mom laid the doll flat on its face. Later that night, with everyone still asleep, my mom got up to use the bathroom. On her way back, she noticed the doll had somehow rolled over and was now lying on its back, staring at the ceiling. That was enough. She grabbed it and stuffed it into a bag with our clothes, and just like that, the heavy, watched feeling was gone. The next morning, we got a call about our new house. While we were packing, my mom told my dad she wanted to get rid of the clown doll. My dad said no. Aunt Wendy had given it to me, and he thought we were being silly. When we moved into our new place, my mom tried to hide the doll in the hallway closet, but my dad saw her and wasn't having it. He brought it into my room and placed it on my dresser. "This is where I want it to stay," he told me. The moment it was back in my room, the feeling returned, that awful sensation of being watched. And I swear to you, its face looked different, more threatening. That night, I couldn't take it anymore. I called for my mom, and when she came in and looked at the doll, without a word, she picked it up and placed it in the dresser drawer. The next morning, we told my dad the doll was creepy and we couldn't have it around anymore. He didn't believe any of it. He said we were making it up and told us to stop being ridiculous. My mom decided to call my aunt and ask if she ever experienced anything strange with the doll. And to our surprise, she said yes. In fact, they had kept the doll in the shed out back for that very reason. That evening, when we told my dad what my aunt had said, he called her to hear it for himself. But to our frustration, she denied everything. My mom and I felt like fools. The next day, while my mom and I were sitting in the kitchen, my dad walked in holding the clown doll. "I said I wanted it to stay on the dresser," he snapped. I was only 8, but I knew better than to argue. I placed it back on my dresser. My dad went on ranting, saying he didn't see anything wrong with it and we needed to stop making up stories. My room still felt wrong, heavy. That night, I asked my mom to lie down with me. She said she would, and eventually we fell asleep. The next day, my dad came into the kitchen looking pale. He told my mom, "The doll is gone. I got rid of it." She looked at him, surprised. "I thought you didn't believe any of this," she said. He looked shaken. He said that the night before he had gotten up to use the bathroom, and when he walked past my room, the clown doll was sitting up with a twisted smile on its face, and he heard an evil laugh. Freaked out, he grabbed the doll, took it outside, and tried to burn it in our grill. Only the clothes burned. The porcelain face turned black from the smoke, but it wouldn't catch. He pulled it from the grill and tried to smash it with a hammer. Only a small chip came off. Getting more and more creeped out, he finally drove it to the neighborhood dumpster and threw it in. We never saw the doll again. And after that, the feeling of being watched disappeared, and my room finally felt normal. My dad called my aunt, and she finally admitted the truth. They had experienced strange things too. That awful, oppressive feeling, like something was watching them. It would go away when the clown doll was kept out in the shed. But they hadn't thought the doll could be the cause. That's what she said anyway, but I think she didn't want to admit she had been so desperate to get rid of it that she had pawned it off on me. This happened years ago, and as an adult, I've come across a store that sells similar looking dolls. I can't help but think I know exactly what I'll be sending my aunt for Christmas. Hello and welcome back to I Talk to Ghosts. I'm here at my séance table with a message from the spirits. So thank you for joining me here. I have with me, as I work tonight, lemon balm leaf. Lemon balm leaf is a wonderfully comforting, soothing frequency to have around you. It's wonderful to have with you when you're doing spiritual work because it's like this embracive spiritual hug, and who doesn't want that? So that is lemon balm leaf. Also makes a great tea for the same purposes. Very calming, nurturing energy with this plant. Okay, I'm gonna open the space. Someone's mom is coming in with a stack of magazines. She is People Magazine. She's like, did you read this article? Did you read about this? Did you read about these people? She just found a lot of entertainment and joy in reading People Magazine and talking about people's lives. Not in a gossipy way. It was just like she took a lot of delight in. It feels like she's everyone's mom, like just caring about people in that way, caring about how people are doing and what they're doing. And I'm seeing Tupperware. Feel like every time you went to her house, she was sending you home with leftovers. Tupperware, gotta burp that lid. Who says that anymore? Wooden spoons. Cooking with wooden spoons. And I wonder if there was like wood decor on the walls. You know how like in a kitchen or a dining room you can have that giant wooden spoon and that wooden fork, that sort of thing. She just loved being a mom, loved being a wife, and just loved interacting with people. She's showing me your purple backpack when you were little. It looks like a light purple and had some buttons on it. You loved that backpack. Her chocolate chip cookie recipe. Ducks. Feeding the ducks. Not feeding them chocolate chips. Feeding them bread. Though now she's like, oh, you shouldn't give ducks bread. Everyone. Yeah, okay. I feel like this is kind of her personality, how she would flit about different subjects and little caring stations, that sort of thing. I think she liked the color red. And flowers. She loves you so much. She wants to give you the biggest hug and know that she's okay. This feels like she had a lot of health burdens, and it was very worrying, and she wants you to know so much that she's okay. And she loves you, and you miss each other, but please know, I say this all the time, but please know you're still connected. Okay, she wants to tease you about muddy shoes. Feels like this is a current problem. You running in the mud or something like that. And just mud on your tennis shoes. And change the oil in your car. She is really motherly, isn't she? Okay, her message for you tonight: get in touch. Connect with your spiritual self. Know yourself through and through. Do not hide things from yourself. And if there's anything that is nagging you or not quite right, face it head on. Pour your love into yourself, and whatever you need, give it to yourself. Fix it. She says you're wonderful and beautiful, and she's proud of you, and you deserve everything. So go get it. Do not criticize yourself and hold yourself back. You deserve all the good things. All the good things. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. She is a very lovely woman, and she really does care, and she's a really good talker. Yeah, she loves you. If this connects for you, please let me know, because I have a feeling she would love for you to have a session. Okay. Yeah, so please reach out. Thank you. Before we part ways into the shadows this evening, I would like to give a spooky shout out to my Patreon supporters. First, a spooky welcome and thank you to new members Holly and Loriana. Thank you, Holly. Thank you, Loriana. And also a continued thank you to Charles and family, Matthew, Alexander, Caligo, Stephen, Amanda, Claire, Gordon, James, Jennifer, Peter, Rob, and Stephanie. Thank you so much for your support. Honestly, so much. It means the world to me that you are willing to support the podcast in such a way. It is never lost on me, and honestly, it keeps me going. So thank you. I can't thank you enough. And with that, dear listener, we have reached the end. This episode is winding down. I hope you've enjoyed my spirit work that I shared with you this episode, as well as those creepy tales of haunted toys. Have you ever had a paranormal encounter with a toy? I would love to hear about it. So please reach out. You can always email me at speaknow@italktoghosts.com. In the meantime, wherever you wander off to in this world or the next, just remember, come back and visit with me. Have a lovely evening and good night.
Fear Daily is a podcast that takes you into the shadows of the past, unearthing the 1990s most terrifying tales of monsters, madness, and life after death. Discovered on a forgotten bulletin board server somewhere in Pennsylvania's Rust Belt, these stories are an archive of humanity's strangest encounters with the unknown, as told by the people who experienced them. Written by Brennan Storr, creator of the Ghost Story Guys, and hosted by Brandon Scheck-Snyder of Southern Gothic, Fear Daily is your window into the dark corners of our world. Follow Fear Daily today on your favorite podcatcher to receive new episodes Monday through Friday, each and every week.
I earned my degree online at Arizona State University. I chose to get my degree at ASU because I knew that I'd get a quality education, they were recognized for excellence, and that I would be prepared for the workforce upon graduating. To be associated with ASU, both as a student and alum, it makes me extremely proud, and having experienced the program, I know now that I'm set up for success. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.